Welcome back to KwaZulu-Natal, Desiree. Whilst the media were waiting for President Cyril Ramaphosa to come out of that briefing that he's currently having right now, we were met with some sound of cries and noises outside the Durban harbour. When we got here, I'm just going to step out of shot and let Nomhle show you on your screens. There is a protest currently happening by Satawu, who are calling for the harbour not to be privatised, saying that their pension funds are going to be affected and that they are simply not happy with this. I am joined by the Deputy Secretary General, Anele Kit. Anele, tell us, why are you guys protesting outside, especially today when President Cyril Ramaphosa is about to do his walkabout here in Durban?
Thank you very much for having me. I think the first thing that we want to send a message to the President of the country that he is the President of the workers. Workers are worried that this port is going to be privatized, and we know history have taught us that when privatization is taking place, it opens for corruption, and workers cannot be affected with that. We know that workers have their pensions that are going to be used to subsidize companies that are going to buy the very same port, and also with that privatization, individuals stand to benefit in the expense of the workers. We know that all companies that are private, the first thing that they want to do is to maximize profits, and in doing so, they make sure that they shed jobs in the expense of profits. So that is the main reason that we are protesting today, that stop the privatization. This port must continue to be in the hands of government, and government must continue to plow money in making sure that this port can sustain itself. This port can create more jobs, because South Africa cannot afford to lose even one worker at this point.
Now, Anele, I know a lot of talks are being said around the Transnet operations moving to the Eastern Cape. How many jobs are going to be lost in that sector? Is this also one of the concerns?
Yes, of course. As Satawu indicated in the consultation process that only happened once, that we are not happy with the movement with taking Transport National Port Authority to Port Elizabeth, given the amount of money that is going to be used that can be deployed elsewhere. We don't see the reason. We still oppose that move. However, this shows the arrogance that authorities that they have, because despite our objections, they want to continue with that. But we will forever stand as Satawu and oppose these things, because we know that even if they implement them, but history will be there in years to come, where it will prove that Satawu raised this thing. When this company goes down, history will judge people who are here in authority today, and will be able to tell that we were against this in 2021.
Anele, very quickly, are you hoping to also try and get a word with the president?
Of course, we would like the president, if he's a caring president, we would like him to come out and listen to the workers as a former leader of the workers himself, and listen to the concerns of the workers. We are expecting that the president won't be happy to see workers picketing outside like this, and he will want to hear what is the cry of the workers, because he's a former leader of the workers himself.
Thank you very much for your time on SABC News. Well, Desiree, that was Anele Kit. He is a Deputy General Secretary of Satawu. Here, I'm just going to walk out a shot. And just protesting and picketing here outside, calling for President Cyril Ramaphosa to please come and address their concerns. They have been stationed out here for now an hour or so, and calling on the president to come speak to them. Their concerns rather is because of the privatization of the port, and also the fact that Transnet operations are moving to Port Elizabeth, and very angry. They're saying that they're hoping that the president will come and speak to them, as he formerly was one of them. He did start that union. He was a part of them, and they want to hear what he has to say in regards to this. Desiree, it's back to you in studio.
Jayed-Leigh, while we still have you, I'm just interested in terms of where these concerns are coming from. Satawu speaking to you now, concerned about privatization. Vusi Elia was speaking to NUMSA, who said they don't understand the government strategy at the Durban harbour. Government has expressly come out to say that the visit is in order to look at progress in terms of improving performance at the port, looking at the status of key infrastructure and decongestion in the port. Where is this separate concern stemming from?
That's very true, Desiree, and I'm glad that you alluded to that, because you know what, when we were stationed this morning, the talks were that he's going to do a walkabout around the port, look at where the investments are going. They'll also talk about, you know, jacking up N3 to make sure that the trucks have access to the ports, so the ports have access to the sub-Saharan areas. You do know that this port is one of the biggest in Africa. We export and import a lot of goods. So this is why the visit came almost to say that, you know what, we have the Durban port. We are going to channel funds into it. There is going to be a lot of infrastructure that's going to be developed here. And this port, alongside the port of Ngqura in Nelson Mandela Bay, will be the ones that are supplying and exporting most of the goods out of the country. We know that Nelson Mandela Bay exports a lot of citrus, and this port here deals with a lot of goods such as rice and maize. So this was the talks. But when we got here, we're hearing NUMSA coming out, we're hearing Satawu coming out, talking about the privatization. And one has to ask themselves, what is the briefing actually, what is happening in that briefing? What is being discussed in that briefing? Are there talks about the privatization of the harbour? But I suppose, Desiree, we can't speculate. We'll just have to see what that briefing entails once the president is finished and once he addresses the media.
Jayed-Leigh, besides Labour, have we seen any interests from civic organizations?
Well, we've seen this over numerous years now. You know, the port has also been highly polluted. So we've seen civic organizations coming out saying that that needs to be dealt with as well. The infrastructure around the port is not sufficient to house all the trucks that come in to collect the goods. So many organizations over the years come out and spoken about this, the high level of pollution in the harbour, and you know, the infrastructure that needs to be jacked up. And we've seen this road out, but we've not seen Satawu being based outside the port. I'm just going to step out of shots, and it's a first for many to see them actually protesting at the harbour and calling on government to address the issues of no public and private partnership, that they want the port to remain in the government's hands. But I suppose we'll have to hear where this goes to and whether they will be able to have a word with President Cyril Ramaphosa once he comes out of that meeting, Desiree. We'll keep you up to breast with the latest here on the ground.
Jayed-Leigh-Paulse, thank you so much for that update. As we were saying, President Cyril Ramaphosa is in Durban today assessing progress in enhancing the efficiency and competitiveness of the Durban port. The president is being accompanied by Public Enterprises Minister Pravin Gordhan, Transport Minister Fikile Mbalula, and KwaZulu-Natal Premier Sihle Zikalala.